Okay, so we're going to be discussing complicated rational expressions. And really what they're doing is they have more than one fraction in them. So for example, 1 minus 1 over x squared divided by 1 minus 1 over x. So there are actually four different fractions, or 5 if you want to include the big one in the middle. Now, what you need to understand is that in these fractions, there are actually parentheses involved, right? So we don't actually write them, but there are hidden parentheses, one for the numerator, one for the denominator. And because of that, what it allows you to do is it allows you to do each of the parts separately. So what I would do is I would separate the two parts. So the first one on the top can be written as 1 minus 1 over x squared. And that's a problem that we've done earlier, right? It's a lot simpler. There's only two fractions. We need to find the LCD and then add them at the top and keep the bottom, or subtract the top and keep the bottom. So here, the LCD for the first one is 1, and the second one is x squared. So remember, we want to find each of the items and their highest exponent. So the LCD is actually just x squared. What's missing in the first one is x squared. So you need to multiply the top and bottom by x squared and keep the other one. So this right here is this first part. And that part is the second. Now that they have the same denominator, we can add or subtract the top and keep the bottom. So this gives us x squared minus 1 all divided by x squared. The second one, let's do the same thing. The LCD is given by 1 times x, so just x itself. The first one here is missing the x, so we get x over x. And the second one is missing nothing, so we can just leave it the way that it is. So again, subtract the top, keep the bottom. So what we did right now, right, is we found the top, the numerator, which is over here. And then this is the denominator. But we actually haven't done anything with this, with our actual problem yet. So what we need to do is we need to take the items that we found and plug it back in. So what we have is the 1 minus 1 over x squared divided by 1 minus 1 over x is actually equal to the top. This is the first parentheses, divided by the bottom. That was the second parenthesis. And now, what do we do when we have a fraction divided by a fraction? You flip the bottom and multiply. So flip the bottom. Oh, sorry. Flip the bottom, keep the top. And then multiply straight across, right? So from here, we can see that these x's cancel with that x squared. And what we're left with is x squared minus 1 over x minus 1. But what is this on the top? This is a difference of squares. So we can rewrite that one in its factor form as x minus 1 times x plus 1, all divided by x minus 1. So these now cancel, and all you're left with is x plus 1. Oh, sorry. There's an x on the bottom. Okay, so remember, when we're doing all this cancellation, you have to write all those restrictions that we canceled out. So it might be easier just to start off from the very beginning and say, what are the things that we have that make the expression undefined? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the domain. So here we had x minus 1 over x. So we cannot have this part equaling 0. So x minus 1 or x is 0. And then the last one that we needed to worry about was this division by 0 here, this x squared. So here's the first, second, and third, or the 3 different parts that we need. I don't need to do the x squared one because it is the same as this one, which is x is 0. So here, x is equal to 1. So the restrictions on the domain is 0 and 1. So the domain is given by negative infinity to 0, union 0 to 1, union 1 to infinity. So that's what you need to write in all of these different parts. X cannot be 0 or 1, x cannot be 0 or 1, x cannot equal 0 or 1, and then last I got here, x cannot be 0 or 1. Okay. So I recommend that you just do that right off the bat because it'll probably make it easier. If you want to do it the way we did it before, where at this point you say x cannot be 0, this point x cannot be 1, don't forget to double check to make sure that this one over here showed up and it just happens to show up in this cancellation.